Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you a Politico article. Trump looks to take down Raffensperger in Georgia. The former president is expected to endorse Representative Jody Hice, who supported Trump's claims, against the Georgia Secretary of State. Former President Donald Trump is expected to endorse Representative Jody Hice in a campaign to unseat Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in next year's Republican primary, according to Trump publicly seethed about Raffensperger, and it's really interesting. The then president aggressively pressured Raffensperger, including in an early January call when Trump told Raffensperger that he should find. The call exposed Trump to potential legal consequences. No, it didn't. In fact, the Washington Post had to fabricate actually two quotes. They literally had to fabricate and then retract a story. So they fabricated quotes and then retracted a story. They attributed quotes to Trump that he never stated just to make him look bad. And they've done this. The Atlantic has done that. Well, the Atlantic was even more despicable. What they did is they completely conjured up and created this this nefarious story where Trump disparaged fallen Americans, and the only evidence they had is a source. Well, where are the sources with Biden? Where are the former U.S. officials coming out of the woodwork and saying that Biden said this or Biden's planning this? The public relations apparatus was against Trump every single day. It's unbelievable. The reporting, now there's no media access in a certain location within the United States of America. Gee, I wonder why. Hice, who first won election to his East Central Georgia seat in 2014, is a staunch Trump ally who supported Trump's efforts in the past year. He derided the Democratic-led push to impeach Trump over his role in D.C., called it bogus. The 60-year-old Congress member has been publicly flirting with a bid, saying last week that he was exploring options and to expect a decision within the next few days. Hice also said that Trump was supportive of his potential candidacy. Trump has been fixated on Georgia as he maps out his plans for the 2022 midterms. He has also publicly encouraged former NFL running back Herschel Walker to mount a Senate bid. I think that should happen as well. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Former president has been trying to recruit a primary opponent to Governor Brian Kemp. Oh my God, Herschel Walker becoming senator of Georgia. And Herschel Walker is a staunch, strong supporter of President Trump. That would be absolutely phenomenal to see Herschel Walker as senator of Georgia. The former president also recently hosted basically, this is an interesting article. The issue with Raffensperger is the following. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Tell your friends about this channel. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Roanoke Times, The Federalist, The Daily Caller, go to hagoodman.com. You can see my debates there as well. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below and on my website. I have something about mid-April you're going to absolutely love. That'll be about around mid-April. Ladies and gentlemen, without discussing or addressing things that we can't talk about, because the First Amendment is alive and well, without addressing those topics, which shall remain nameless, there is a uniformity of thought within the Democratic Party, or an absolute and total allegiance among state, local, and the national political party. Nobody deviates, okay? You saw in the past year Republican parties within certain states say, oh, well, that's not... Because, Democrats try to do exactly what Republicans try to do. That you can look, and the evidence is there. The articles. There was even a a commercial with a whole bunch of celebrities And then they spent 4 years, and this is they call what Trump has done Trumpian disinformation. Well, what is the Steele dossier? Clintonian disinformation? How come there are no euphemisms describing the Clintons? I guess you could say Clintonian. How come there are no euphemisms describing Biden? It's really a failure of leadership on many levels in the past 3 months or so. We can get into that, but they create this world around Trump, and it permeates within the Republican Party. That's why, there are millions of people like myself who wouldn't vote Republican were it not for Trump. President Trump removed Americans from a region of the world that we've been in, or let's say set the groundwork to remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. That is the biggest moral dilemma we face as a country. We cannot have 20 years and an indefinite time frame of just keeping Americans in locations of the world where they're not only in harm's way, but locations that are essentially a powder keg. You cannot keep Americans stationed. And when the rebuttal is, well, you have soldiers in Germany and Japan, it's like, no, that is complete. There are no counterinsurgency conflicts there. You're sending Americans off. President Obama sent Americans to more countries than, well, he added the list of countries we sent Americans to. President Trump removed Americans from one specific country, Syria, and then negotiated a deal in Afghanistan to remove Americans completely, to end our involvement there completely. Biden, like I said he would, is taking the Lincoln Project type of advice and keeping Americans there indefinitely. He is not honoring the negotiated deal to bring Americans home. That is why I voted for President Trump. The difference between a left-leaning person who votes Democrat and a former progressive or former lefty like myself who votes for Trump is that I get something from Trump. Trump reversed U.S. foreign policy, Abraham Accords, the beginning of peace between North and South Korea, first president to step foot in North Korea, signed a deal to get us out of never-ending quagmires, to bring home Americans. That's what I wanted Bernie Sanders to do when I was viewed as the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I thought Bernie Sanders would do exactly what Trump did. For the people who voted for Bernie Sanders or AOC, who wanted them to implement a whole bunch of other things like Medicare for all, that'll never happen. Bernie and AOC exist to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. But Bernie and AOC are examples of what I'm trying to say. There are no Brad Raffenspergers in the Democratic Party. There simply are not. You're never going to have a state Democratic affiliate or party. You're never going to have them deviate from or break away from what the DNC says. The Democratic National Committee or the Democratic Party runs the show, and it used to be run by the Clintons. Okay, now it's run by the base of support that the Clintons created. Okay, there are Clinton voters, or there are Hillary, there are I'm with her voters. They're not really I'm with him Biden people. Those people, the support and the base for Biden was the I'm with her crowd that was just funneled into a new candidate. Biden won because he had a base, he had a public relations monstrosity. Every major publication, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Esquire, Vanity Fair, Daily Beast, Time Magazine, BuzzFeed, you name it, Mother Jones, The Nation, all of Hollywood, Trevor Noah, Stephen Colbert, James Corden, John Oliver, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I mean, I'm Saturday Night Live. I'm missing a couple. It's never ending. Every element of American life, from entertainment to virtually all of political media, to intelligence operatives, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Brennan Clapper, Comey. Nobody had to write a letter to all the editors of the publications that I just named, and all the producers of the cable stations, and all the intelligence operatives, and all the late night talk show hosts to say, hey, vote one way. They all just gravitated towards one politician, and they all did everything possible to undermine another politician. I mean, they're blaming atrocities on Trump because of words that he uttered 5-6 months ago, when even the culprit, the despicable, nefarious, evil culprit, suspect stated, yeah, that's not why he did what he did. Still, it's not good. And even law enforcement said, yeah, Trump's words had nothing to do with it. Still, they're trying. They create their own reality and ignore reality because they live in cyberspace. They live on Twitter. But my point to you is that there is an apparatus propping up the Democratic Party. It's pretty much every publication repeating the same Democratic Party talking points. Trump worked with Russia. Oh, they love that one. He worked with Russia. He is best friends forever with Putin, and Facebook ads. And then they spend 4 years, doing this, and then God forbid Trump then pushes back. They say, "Oh my God, how dare you!" Everything is like he's tearing the fabric of our democracy. Democracy is now a euphemism for whatever Democrats want. Putin and Russia are euphemisms for meaning, blame or their rhetorical devices to blame any controversy or scandal or negative story that Democrats don't want in the open on Russia and Putin, and try to disparage the people who are looking into these stories as willing participants in a plot by Russian operatives. Whether it's Tulsi Gabbard or Trump or Biden's son's emails, it's always, well, you know what? The Russians want you to know this. It's like, you have to be a complete imbecile not to realize that there are intelligence operatives who just side with the Democratic Party and then just blame one country. Use one country as a scapegoat for the failures and the negative stories associated with the Democratic Party. But what I'm trying to say here, in my long-winded manner, trying to always take into account the algorithm, is the following. You don't see what Raffensperger did in Georgia. You don't see that taking place. You don't see state parties or the heads of state parties saying, no Biden, no Clinton. The interesting thing is the rebuttal might be, they don't act the way Trump does. Trump doesn't have the entire apparatus. What happens is, if there's a hint of suspicion, or they can just fabricate suspicion. Wait a second. If the reverse were true, oh my God, you would have every single publication saying, hey, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Let's investigate. And then the investigative journalists come out, just like they did with Trump Russia, and they found nothing. And all the speculation is published, and all the former, current U.S. officials come out of the woodwork. It's an entire machine. And so that's one of the reasons why you don't have this, you have just complete and total allegiance within the Democratic Party that you don't have within the Republican Party. The Republicans were outmaneuvered by Democrats. Hopefully by 2022, the Republicans that did not back Trump get primaried. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back numerous times today. I should have a live stream later this